Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You may be seated. We had a 4 o'clock service where there were children and they brought up the different figures for the manger scene. And if you look closely, you'll see the angels sleeping on the roof. And this sheep has completely face planted right into the ground, which I actually pointed out at the service was divinely inspired because the title of my sermon is God Comes When We Are Tired. And that angel is witness to that. By the time we reach Christmas Eve, I think many of us are exhausted. Anyone exhausted in the room? I see a few hands, I see some nods. And not always the good kind of tired that comes after meaningful work, but sometimes, I think for some of us, the bone deep kind of tired. The kind that sleep doesn't fix. The kind that settles into our shoulders and our breath and our expectations. We're tired of bad news. Tired of being vigilant. Tired of bracing ourselves for what comes next. Tired of holding families together, communities together, institutions that feel stretched thin. We've been preaching hope, and we believe it. But hope, too, can be tiring when the world keeps demanding more than we have to give. Which is why I find it very striking that when God finally comes into this world, God does not arrive to people who are rested, prepared, and ready. God comes to people who are worn out. Mary is exhausted, not metaphorically, physically. Her body has been carrying the weight of empire, expectation, scandal, and a pregnancy that has rearranged everything about her life. She has traveled while heavily pregnant. She has been displaced by a census. She is far from home. She is laboring in borrowed space. This is not the moment we would choose for salvation to begin. And yet, this is exactly when God comes. Luke does not tell us that Mary is serene. He does not tell us that she is glowing. He does not tell us that she understands how any of this will turn out. What Luke tells us is that she gives birth. Because the time comes whether she is ready or not. And that matters. Because so many of us arrive at Christmas feeling like we should have more faith, more energy, more clarity, more resilience than we actually have. We assume that if God's going to do something new, we need to be stronger first. But Christmas tells a different truth. The miracle of Christmas is not that God comes when we are faithful. It is that God comes when we are depleted. God does not wait for the world to stabilize. God does not wait for Mary to catch her breath. God does not wait for peace treaties or healed divisions, or functional systems. God comes into the exhaustion. And exhaustion is not just personal. It is produced. People are not tired because they lack resilience. They are tired because they are being ground down. Housing is unstable. Work demands more and gives less. Care systems are frayed. Violence is normalized. Fear is monetized. Even hope has been turned into a responsibility that so often we feel we must carry alone. And when people are exhausted long enough, something dangerous happens. They stop expecting change. They stop resisting. They stop imagining a different future, which is exactly how unjust systems prefer us. Too tired to push back. Too tired to dream. Too tired to notice what is being taken from us. And that is the world that Jesus was born into. Not to shame the tired, not to demand more, but to take on flesh within it. The angel says, do not be afraid. Not because fear is irrational, but because God knows exactly how rational it is. The message is not calm down. The message is you are not alone in this. This is what hopeful resistance looks like at Christmas. Not pretending we're fine, not numbing ourselves, not fleeing the city or the struggle or the mess, but believing stubbornly, quietly, that God is still being born in places like this, in bodies like ours, in a world that feels stretched past capacity. Mary does not lead a movement that night. She does not fix anything. She does not even get a room. She gives birth. And that somehow is enough. Because the world is changed not by her energy, but by God's presence. Which is why the miracle of Christmas changes our lives this way. We stop measuring faithfulness by how much we can carry and start trusting that God is at work even when we have nothing left to give. Hope is not enthusiasm. Hope is endurance with meaning. Hope is staying present. Hope is refusing to believe that exhaustion disqualifies us from being part of God's story. So here's the image that I want you to carry with you tonight. A tired young woman breathing through pain, doing the only thing she can do, bringing life into this world, while the world around her remains seemingly unchanged. The empire does not pause. The census still counts bodies, not dignity. The night remains cold, and still a child is born. Not a reward for human faithfulness, not because the world is ready, but because God refuses to wait. That is the miracle of Christmas. Not that everything suddenly becomes peaceful, but in the middle of what is unfinished, unjust, and exhausting, God chooses to be born. So if all that you can do this Christmas is show up, breathe, and stay, that is enough. The light has entered this world, and the darkness cannot overcome it. Amen.